Hey guys, Matt McKeever here. As promised, this is part 1 to my upcoming series where I'm going to show you exactly how to retire off of X amount of dollars, or at least provide you with a few scenarios of how I'd go about approaching it. So, the problem is, originally when I started this video series, I started just documenting these videos without this precursor video. I realized I was constantly having to give asides or qualifications to some of the things I was talking about. So instead of bogging down those videos with all this additional information, I kind of want to just put this up in the front of the series so that we're all on the same page. So in general, this whole series is really focused on retiring on an amount of money at an earlier age than the average person would consider reasonable. And so we actually have a term for that in the financial independence retire early community, and that term is leanfire. That simply stands for lean, fire, financial independence retire early. So it's just a leaner version of that. And there's a lot of different exact definitions of it, but the subreddit, leanfire, calls it those who wish to retire before the age of 60 on $40,000 or less a year in retirement expenses. I think that's a pretty handy definition. The best example of that has already been done by Jacob Lund Fisker. You probably remember that name, and you probably remember this book. He's the guy that did the Early Retirement Extreme book, that's this book, and the blog. And if you remember from my other videos, I refer to this as my Bible. Seriously, this is the most important book that you could read. If you're only going to read one book on financial independence, I'd make it this one. Particularly if you want to retire at a young age, or just retire as soon as possible. This is the guy, this is the book. Also amazing forums and just great community on there. So I can't recommend enough that you go check them out if you're into this. So essentially just give you a really quick high level understanding of what Jacob's form of retirement looked like. He retired in 5 years, and the way he did it was essentially by reducing his expenses to a level that most people would assume is completely impossible. And the way he went about doing it is he was able to reduce his expenses to $14,000 a year. That's not just for him though. That's for him and his wife. And that's in Southern California. So I'm willing to bet that if they can do it there in California, odds are that within a 5-hour drive of wherever you currently live, you can probably achieve a similar form of retirement or a similar form of lean fire, if you will. So the reason I particularly love the idea of lean fire, other than the fact that it's the fastest way to retirement, is simply that it really causes you to focus and prioritize on what's actually important to you. So the things that you're consuming, the experiences you're buying, are they actually adding net value to your life? Or are you simply doing them because it's what the Joneses do, or it's what your parents do, or it's just what people at your age or in your profession do? So there's something really powerful about figuring out exactly what your lean fire number is, and then realizing that your passive income or your net assets could sustain indefinitely with a high probability of success those expenses. And so the thing is, once you reach lean fire, it's not like you have to immediately go quit your job and you have to live that lifestyle forever and ever. It's really about just creating an amazing base, a foundation that's going to create an extremely resilient lifestyle for yourself. And so if you decide that you want to continue employment after that fact, or you decide that you want to consume at a higher level, that's fine. But the key is you're going to be cognizant of it now. So everything you do from that point on is an active choice where you're really the one choosing to do it. So you no longer have to do that. You no longer have to do this. You're completely in control of your life at that point because of this lean fire. And so there's also no rule saying that you can never, ever, ever earn active income again. You can always do that in lean fire. Turns out there's no retirement police, so you can do whatever you want when you lean fire. And it also just embraces frugality and minimalism. To me, honestly, consuming less while we're on this planet is also a real factor in the sort of lifestyle I want. We do live on a world with finite resources. So even if I personally had essentially infinite access to the world's resources, I still wouldn't want to be consuming them at such a rate where I felt it was really hindering others or impacting. Yeah, that's a little crunchy. And the great thing about lean fire is it also naturally embraces frugality and minimalism. And trying to consume less while we're on this planet, I think, is a really important consideration that more of us need to do. And lean fire is a great way to align a lot of, for myself at least, my personal interests. In addition to that, It's really focusing on becoming a citizen again instead of a consumer. Really, the key here is managing your life as a successful business. So you're looking at acquiring assets that produce a return and trying to reduce your expenses and find efficiencies. With leanfire, focusing on your expenses is actually even more important than focusing on your income. When focusing on expenses, I really like to break it out into 3 categories, and those categories are shelter, transportation, and then personal consumables and food. And so just a quick aside here, guys, but your home, and this could be controversial, I get it, but it's honestly what I believe, your home shouldn't be your castle. Your home should be a comfortable shelter. Your vehicle should be an A to B tool, not a representation of your personal ego or a status symbol peacocking to others. Food should be fuel for your body and mind. Clothing should be comfortable protection from the elements. And really, the way to financial independence, retiring early as soon as possible, or reaching lean fire, you need to really find novel and creative solutions to reduce your expenses, to find substitutes, or even find ways to get paid for things you used to pay for. And so one more quick qualification before we move on to part 2 is simply these scenarios I'm going to lay out for you coming up, they're really focused on not creating a 100% guaranteed retirement plan. Because honestly, if our fiat currency all of a sudden collapsed tomorrow and the world economy just completely imploded, everyone's retirement plans would be completely shit out of luck except for the doomsday preppers who have created an off-grid survival base. So what leanfire is about is creating a retirement plan with a high probability of success. Let's call that 95% or greater chance of succeeding. And the key here is we can always still adjust or make course corrections midstream if things do come up. So we can always reduce our consumption a bit, or we can find substitutes for the things we were consuming, or we can go out and earn active income if we need to. So that's it for part 1. In part 2, I'm going to be focusing on presenting several scenarios that I would consider if I was trying to reach financial independence or lean fire on $1 million in net assets. And I'm primarily going to be focused on in that video simply debt and equity investments in the public market. So, as always, thanks for taking time to watch. I really appreciate it. And be sure to leave me a comment down below. Do you have a lean fire amount? Is it an expense amount or an asset-based amount? And if you're unfamiliar with lean fire before this video, let me know. Now that you know the concept, what do you think of it? In addition, if you got value from this video, be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. If you're unsubscribed, hit the subscribe button. I recommend you check out this video. It's my core concepts of financial independence video. Yeah, I know it's long, but it's got tons of value, and YouTube recommends you check out that video. Alright, thanks again for taking time to watch, guys. Until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money out there for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, what's the point? Thanks! Bye!